So, this occurred many years ago, but it will forever stay with me and change my views on allowing my kids to ever have their own separate phone line. It was a few weeks after Christmas, and my parents had got me my own personal phone, with my own separate phone line, because that was the cool thing back then, before cell phones were big. I had given my friends the number because who wouldn't, right? Anyway, it was about 3 a.m., and I had been sleeping when my phone suddenly begins to ring. I thought, that's odd, who can be calling this early? We all have to be up for school in the morning. So, I answered it, but all that I could hear was breathing on the other end. I just laughed it off as someone just messing with me and hung up. I tried returning to sleep, but my phone rang again. This time, I answered it and said, "Who is this?" Nothing. Just breathing again. At this point, I was beginning to get irritated. I told them to stop calling me, and then I hung up. I laid down again for about 30 minutes when my phone rang for yet the third time that morning. I was mad, so I answered and said, "This isn't funny. I'm trying to sleep. I have school in the morning. Stop calling me." This time there was a reply. It was a man's voice. It sounded very gravelly, and he laughed and said,
"I can see you. You're very pretty. Why don't you come out and play in the snow with me?"
With that, I hung up and started crying. I ran to my parents' room and woke up my mom, telling her what had happened, and she woke up my dad and made me tell him everything. They both get up, and my dad goes into my room and checks the windows and everything. He makes sure all the locks on the doors are locked, and proceeds to tell me it's just someone playing a sick joke, and that everything will be fine, and he tells me to just unplug my phone from the outlet. So I finally go back to sleep, until my mom wakes me up for school. I get up and start getting ready, and I open my blinds to my window that leads to the backyard. I notice on this very frosty morning that there are handprints all over my window. I called my parents and they're totally freaked out, and my dad immediately called the police. The police came out to take a report and look at the evidence, and they decided they went to go to the backyard. Sure enough, there were a set of footprints in the snow that led right up to my window. They had gone from the front of the house, through the back of my window, back to the door, and back to the front door. The police think the guy had tried to get into the house.